Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Probably the best kept secret of this offseason was the fact that the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos were working on a trade for the last couple of weeks for Russell Wilson to go to Denver. We don't have all the details of the trade, but we believe that Drew Lock and Noah Fant have gone to Seattle along with 4 other picks. No word yet on what those picks may be, but all I can say is wow. And this is almost comical because on a day that Russell Wilson gets traded is the same day that Aaron Rodgers becomes the highest paid quarterback by $5 million a year after the Green Bay Packers decided to say, here you go. Here's the keys to the kingdom, Aaron. We're bowing down to you, the quarterback, GM, and the God. We love you. You're beautiful. We're going to give you $50 million a year to be our quarterback for the next 4 years. And for him to have that limelight all of 2 hours, to then have the blockbuster trade of Russell Wilson going to the Denver Broncos, literally bitch slapped Aaron Rodgers and his thunder of having all the attention of the blogosphere. Now, here's where this gets interesting because now the NFC has definitely taken some hits this offseason. Getting Russell Wilson out of Seattle, even though they're a team that needed to be rebuilt, getting him out of the NFC to the AFC definitely strengthens the AFC, weakens the NFC. On a year where Tom Brady decides to retire, you look at that and say, there's opportunities in the NFC. Jimmy Garoppolo may be traded to Washington or to New Orleans or to Pittsburgh, which could be another hit to the NFC. And you also look and say, well, the 49ers will probably come back down to earth because it's the normal cycle. You get good, you come down. You start looking at this and you start seeing that Green Bay, having paid so much money to Aaron Rodgers, now you have to say, is there going to be money for them to bring back Davante Adams as well as to get themselves better? If I were the Dallas Cowboys and I was the GM, understanding that now the new philosophy in the NFL is not go get your quarterback now. What you do is you let somebody else take the risk of getting the quarterback. You let them coach them up, find out if they can really play, and then you go out and you get the quarterback. Instead of taking 2, 3 number ones and taking your lumps for 3 years with a quarterback that you don't know can sink or swim, like, say, Cleveland did with Johnny Manziel as well as Baker Mayfield. Take those picks, get your offensive line, get your receivers, get your defense together, and say, we can now take our picks and get a guy that we can plug in. That's what Denver's trying to do, following the same thing that the Rams did, doing the same thing that Tampa Bay did. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, right now, knowing that the salary cap is going to jump up in the next couple of years, knowing that the NFC has lost 2 of their best quarterbacks, knowing that your division, that Washington, the best quarterbacks are staying where they're going or they've already been traded. The best Washington can do right now is Jimmy Garoppolo, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz. They're not going to be a juggernaut in Washington. They're just not. They don't have the quarterback to do things. And if you're a quarterback and you look at the track record of what happens to guys that go to Washington, you want to stay away. You really want to stay away from Washington. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, there's no better time than right now to push your chips in. Tyron Smith, apparently you're going to hold on to, doesn't have time. Get yourself a good offensive lineman. Go out there in free agency and say, we're not going to bargain basement shop. Because, see, the problem is the Dallas Cowboys are scared, and scared money don't make money. Grow some fucking balls and say, you know what? We're going to go in free agency and we're going to get a good, we're not going to just get, bargain basement guys. We're going to get some really good players. We're going to get a good run-stopping defensive lineman. We're going to get ourselves a good linebacker. We're going to get ourselves one more good offensive lineman. And then go into the draft and with the philosophy of we're going to take the best player available. But you have to understand that you can't expect value picks to be the guys that are going to take you to the promised land. It's just not going to happen. And there's no better time than right now. You're freeing up some capital with Amari Cooper. You're freeing up some capital with D-Law. Take the money from D-Law, make him a June 1st, post-June 1st cut. Take that $19 million, use that on a defensive tackle, a great defensive tackle, and a great linebacker, and bring back Randy Gregory. If you do those things with that money from D-Law, that defense is better. It just is. It's going to be interesting to hear the NFL world go crazy right now with Russell Wilson traded. And probably if you are the NFC West, you kind of say, okay, good. That's one of those guys out there. Maybe the Cardinals will trade Kyler Murray. The final piece to this is now that Aaron Rodgers is re-signed, now that Russell Wilson has been traded, the only premier quarterback that you look at, and I still believe he's overrated, is Deshaun Watson. And that means Deshaun Watson's value is increasing by the minute, because that's the only quarterback that you look at and say is, okay, he might be a true difference maker as opposed to a bus driver of a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Jameis Winston, or a Carson Wentz. And so the mad scramble for quarterbacks, the musical chair that I call it, some teams that are about to be left without a seat, the Washington football team, and the Cowboys, unless we decide we got to go ahead and get some premier players, we're going to be stuck in mediocrity. Forget this stuff where they always say that we're a Super Bowl contender. We're not a Super Bowl contender as long as we keep signing guys like Ty Nsekhe to be a backup. We're not going to be a Super Bowl contender when we go for Carlos Watkins and the Terrell Bashams. Until we get some real talent and that the Dallas Cowboys grow some cojones, we're going to be stuck here in mediocrity. There's nothing we can do about it. So, let me go in here. I've got to get me some stuff for dinner tonight, and I'll definitely be back later. Peace.